In this presentation, we will discuss the fiber-reinforced polymer as a promising alternative of steel in construction industry for sustainable development. So in this presentation, we will cover the sustainable development. We will introduce what is sustainable development, and then I will introduce you with the fiber-reinforced polymers, how they are manufactured, and then we will evaluate the FRP as a sustainable material. Then finally, we will see its application as an alternative of steel in construction industry. Okay, first of all, what is sustainable development? The sustainable development is a process of change in which the exploitation of resources, the direction of investment, and the orientation of technological development and institution change are all in harmony and to enhance both current as well as future potential to meet the human needs and aspirations. So this is the definition of sustainable development given by the World Commission on Environment and Development in 1987. So if we summarize this definition, so we can say that the sustainable development is a development which meets the need of present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs. So I would like to give one example over here regarding the sustainable development. So if we see, it was a very good development, the development related to electricity. So if we continue to generate the electricity from the coal or from the furnace oil, so the available resources might be sufficient for few generation, 1, 2 or 4, 5 generation maximum. But what will happen to the next generation, where they will produce this electricity? So this type of development is not a sustainable development. But if we see the development related to solar energy, so we are producing the same energy, but it is from the solar radiations. And whatsoever the amount we utilize, it will not deplete the original source. The sun will remain there and the source of the electricity will remain there. So such type of development is said to be a sustainable development, which meet our today's requirement and it will not affect the future generations. Okay, next is sustainable development approach. So there are two type of approach. The first is conventional approach in which we focus on the economy and performance. We see the economy, that how much will be the cost for the development and what will be its performance. But in case of sustainable approach, we focus on environment, the impact of that development on environment. We also focus on the energy consumption for the development, resource consumption for the development, society, the impact of that development on the society, and economy as well as performance. So other than the economy and performance of that development, we also focus on 4 other parameters, which are environment, energy consumption, resource consumption, and the impact on the society. Next is the sustainable development goals. United Nations have set 17 sustainable goals in 2015, and they have decided to achieve these 17 goals by the end of 2030. So these goals, we can see these are no poverty, there should be no poverty by the end of 2030. So we should take measures to reduce the poverty. We should take measures so that there should be zero hunger, no one should sleep hungry, good health and well-being for everyone. So these are the 17 development goals which are set by the United Nations. It's our responsibility to do our best to achieve these goals. So if we talk about the civil engineering, so these two goals are most important, the 11 and 12. Sustainable cities and communities. So being civil engineer, it's our responsibility to develop the cities which are sustainable, which do not harm the environment, which do not deplete the resources. And similarly, responsible consumption and production. So whatsoever we produce and whatsoever we consume, this should be sustainable. We should not consume the whole resources at once, and we should not produce such products which are harmful to the environment and society. Okay, if we talk about the sustainable material and sustainable structure, being civil engineer, so the ideal sustainable material and structure would have the closed life cycle. So it should have closed life cycle. Starting from the production, then construction, production of the material or the components, then construction of the structure, operation, end of life, and then recycling or reuse. It should not be dumped, it should not be wasted, the end product, the waste product, but it should be recycled or reused. Reused to produce the new product or for the new construction. So this should have a closed life, any structure or any material. If it has a closed life, then it is a sustainable material and sustainable structure. So here we can see the sustainable or green building. So these are the properties. If a building possess these properties, so we can say that it is a sustainable structure. The first is water efficient. So whatsoever building we construct, it should water efficient. We have seen in masjid, in mosques, that there are hand shower that we just, they are actually sensor control. When we put our hands under that tab, they will work, and when we draw the hand out of that tab, they will not work. So it, in that way we can reduce the consumption of water. So we should make a building such that it should be water efficient. And indoor environment quality, so the environment quality should be good. So solar radiation should enter into the building so that there should not be any germs. It should be naturally heated, as well as the energy loss should be minimum. So in summer it should be cool, and in winter it should not be cool. So the heat should not enter into the building during summer, and it should not escape from the building during winter. So we need to construct such a building. Durable and maintainable design, we should select the material as well as the design in such a way that it should have a long life. It should not be damaged by the environmental factor, and the maintenance cost should be minimum. It should be energy efficient, as I said earlier, that it should require minimum energy to heat in the winter and cool in the summer. It should be eco-friendly, or eco-friendly material should be used. So to construct the building, we should not use such a material which is harmful to the environment, mean which leave the carbon footprint, and it should not be harmful to the occupants. For example, if we use asbestos cement concrete, so it is carcinogenic. It can cause cancer if we inhale the fibers. The next is waste reduction. At the end of the life of the structure, the waste product should be recycled or reused. So we need to select such a material for the building that it could be recycled. So if a building possesses all these properties, so we can say it is a green building. The next is sustainable material indicator or evaluation indicator. So we can evaluate any material that whether it is a sustainable or not based on these three factors: environmental, social, and economic factors. So we can see whether this material produce pollution in the environment. Does this consume too much energy, or it consume very less energy during its production and operation? Similarly, we can see whether it produces toxic gases into the environment, or it is recyclable or not. Similarly, we can see its impact on the human health. We can also evaluate that whether this material can help to achieve the goal of set by the United Nations sustainability goal, like poverty, welfare, and equity. We also need to see that this material should be economical. Its purchase cost, processing cost, transportation cost, as well as the disposal cost should be minimum. So if our material fulfill all these criteria or some of these criteria, then we can say that this is a sustainable material. And the structure made by this such type of material will be sustainable if we design it in a proper manner.